Two, one. Hey, how's everybody doing today? This is a beautiful Sunday, and we're going to be discussing Love and Monsters on the Whovians. This is an episode starring the Tenth Doctor, David Tennant. We all love the Tenth Doctor here, and we're all going to just be talking all kinds of positive about this episode. I'm sure, and I'm not being funny about this. I know quite a few of my friends here really dig this one. And I have a lot of great friends with me here today that I'm happy to share the stage with. And I will get to them. But like I said, it's 2016 and last video, and we're mixing around everything. And at this point, I will go first, and I will do my review on Love and Moxers. And I'm going to keep it brief because I don't want I don't want to spoil everything for everyone. I want everybody to have a chance to nitpick or pick out different things. But we're going to get deep into this, guys. Okay, here we go. All right, so we have a Doctor Who episode that's a Doctor Light episode, which means, and we don't get many of these, which basically means this episode doesn't really feature the Doctor much in it. Similar episode to this would be like Blink with Sally Sparrow, which is a much loved episode. Now, Love and Monsters doesn't always get that much love on the internet, which is odd because when I talk about it amongst friends, we don't really seem to have too many issues about it. We're usually pretty okay with it. Not saying it's the best, but here I go. Okay, Elton. Elton's kind of cool. You're getting his perspective of meeting the Doctor. Uh, it, it it might be fabricated a bit because you're seeing everything through his vision. Like for instance, like the beginning, the whole Scooby Doo little back and forth thing with the meat, the bucket. Rose and the Tenth Doctor running after the monster, the creature. Cool part, cool funny part. Always a laugh to see that part, and definitely taken from like a Scooby Doo episode. Pretty cool. Elton witnesses this, and they start you off there. Then they take it back where he's kind of filming himself talking about the Doctor and talking about his own personal experience meeting the Doctor when he was a little boy, when his mom passed away. Um, then he meets up with a gang. Now this gang is the Linda Group. Now the Linda Group is kind of like us, like Whovians, like big Doctor Who fans. It's kind of cool, and they're really into really cool music, like us, like ELO. Like how cool is that? Because you don't get too much cool popular music in Doctor Who. Every once in a while you get a jam. You might get a Queen song or something. And I'm a big ELO fan, so anything with Jeff Lynne in it for me is freaking awesome. So it's kind of cool, when you had little parts with little Mr. Blue Sky or the group, they eventually start a little singing, little group with their limbs because they they all meet together to try to find a Doctor and learn, but then they kind of just become friends and start doing other things and kind of putting the Doctor aside, and they start their little Linda group and they're, playing their music, just having a good time, bringing food. Then Victor Kennedy comes in to remind them, no, we're here. We're here to find the Doctor, and there you go. Then it gets kind of hardcore now. They're gonna go find the Doctor. Now, this is also for me. I don't want to get too much into detail because I blab too much. But for me, this is one of my favorite Jackie Tyler episodes. It was kind of cool to kind of see what was going on with her during her time away from Rose and how lonely it is and how sad and how she misses her daughter, how she's not sure if her daughter's dead or alive, not knowing, for months at a time, not hearing anything. And you kind of feel for her and you get a little character development from her. And she's a funny character because she kind of comes off when you kind of seen her before a bit of a floozy. I'm not going to say she's not a bit of a floozy, but she has a bit more personality in this. You kind of feel for her a bit, especially when it's revealed that Elton's kind of looking for the Doctor. She gets very offended by this. So I did dig it on that. Then we come up to the Absorbaloaf. Not the best looking creature in the world, but a cool idea enough. Again, so I know some of you guys. Save that for some of you guys to get a little more into that. But the idea of him being able to absorb people, that's a pretty decent, fair idea. But let's just get to the only real thing, and I know it's a nitpick that some of us do have, is just the last few minutes for me. The whole Ursula Blake becoming the cement slab. I just don't. I don't dig that idea. Maybe somebody here does, and they can explain why they do. But I I just don't see the doctor doing something like that. I understand saving a life, and understand. I guess you can look at it like there are people out there that are handicapped that can't move. Does that make them any less of a life? But apparently, like, she's able to live forever like this, and will we ever see her again? I know Texas Tim is that's one of his big wonders. He's always asking these questions. Will we ever see Ursula Blake again? But anyway, I don't hate this episode. It it it's a bit corny at times, but it's redeeming. The whole scene with Elton with his mom when he's a little boy with this is a little sad part there. Dealing with the death of his mom at a young age. It can get a bit of a tearjerker there. It's a bit of a mix. Rose being pissed, the doctor just standing there letting her take care of business. When she's a bit pissed at Elton at that time. It's it's pretty decent for a Doctor Light episode. It's not that bad. Would I like it preferred over Blink? No, no. But I think it has its own little charm. And even as time goes on, it not that I like it better or worse. It's just like I always, it's pretty solid for what it is. I don't hate this episode at all. So I do. I give it a 9. Okay, I will begin this one with a 9. It's a decent episode. I am curious because I know what a couple of my friends think about it, but not everybody here. But I really, other than, like I said, they should have just ended it and left the last couple of minutes. It just even seemed like it lingered on a little too much, like the last 5 to 3 minutes or so. But let's see what the rest of my buddies say. I blabbed on them enough here, and we're gonna go. Yeah, we'll go with Lee Wilson, who wasn't here last night. He was enjoying the Kenny Rogers concert. So take it away, Lee.
I can understand why now that you always go last. You talk too much, Mike. Um, yeah, I don't understand the hate this one gets. Matt Warren as Elton Pope. What a brilliant actor. He is a very good actor. You got all the emotions off him, as you say at the end there when he starts to remember the death of his mother and the doctor was in the living room. That scene there was just brilliant, where that little kid just stood on the grass and his mother just walks away. That was brilliant for me. The Absorbaloff, yeah. The design of that was from a competition for kids, to design a monster. And it didn't work for me. Nothing against Peter Kay. It's just the design. And even the kid, when he saw the design of it, wasn't very happy with it. So that's a niggle there. But as you say, anything with ELO in it, it's got big thumbs up for me for ELO. As for Jackie Tyler, I'm not a big fan of the Tyler family. Well, especially, Billie Piper. Not a big fan of her. So I'm glad she wasn't in it much. But I did like the Scooby-Doo element there. Yeah, Mike pointed that out. For me, I want Elton to come back. I want to see where he is now. See what he's doing now. Because they left it. They should have done another story with him in it. And I'm just surprised that no merchandise companies have picked up that idea of an airless slab. You know what I mean? But maybe so if you go in those special stores. But I like it. It's a good story. It's the camaraderie between the group is brilliant. It's just exactly as Mike said. This is what we do. That's what they do. It's just very, very similar. We gather here. We talk about the Doctor. So for me, I'm not going to hate on it. I'm not going to give it as high as 9. I'm going to give it an 8.
All right, great. Thank you there, Mr. Wilson. It was great to have you back here. All right, let's We're gonna go to Beef Dad. Beef Dad looks excited. What did you think of Love and Monsters? Were you sucked in from the Absorbalope?
Oh, absolutely. Um, I'm one of those people who really likes Jackie Tyler. I I love the character. I mean, there's the scene with her and Mark Warren in the laundrette was absolutely brilliant. It was superbly done. It was just very, very cleverly written and a lot of fun to watch. Peter Kay as the Absorbaloff. Actually, I found Peter Kay a lot more threatening when he was Victor Kennedy, and a lot funnier when he was the Absorbaloff. He really gave me the creeps as Kennedy. And nobody's mentioned Ursula, apart from the fact that she ends up being a slab. But yeah, she's played by Shirley Henderson, and she's a lovely little actress, and she's always a joy to watch. Anything that she does is good. It's usually absolutely pinpoint accurate, and I love watching her. She's a superb little actress. And of course, nobody's mentioned Bella Emberg. I mean, little tiny cameo as Mrs. Croot, but Bella Emberg, one of the great comedy straight women on British television. Her Wonder Woman was a sign. At the very beginning where he starts talking and it's on the internet, and I thought to myself, really? And I realised that we do this every bloody week. I thought, yeah, cool. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a good watch. It really is a good watch. And yeah, for me, it gets a 9 out of 10.
All right, cool. Thank you, Beef Dad. Awesome. All right, let's see who we got here spinning the wheel of fortune. Okay, Jimmy, what do you think, man?
I like the use of Mr. Blue Sky, how they used it, not just that they used it, but how they used it, how they edited it into the show. It's Dr. Light, and it's the 10 and error with Rose. So the good news is there's very little Rose in it. Bad news is Rose is still in it. I like Jackie Taylor. I like how she's portrayed in the episode. They could have gone the other road because this is all comedy. They could have made her out in a bad light, but they didn't. They treated her gently, and you feel sorry for her, and that's good. I think the reason people put this episode down is because of the end, especially the oral sex joke. That ruins everything that had preceded it. I also think the group Linda, I think people were thinking this is how they perceive Doctor Who fans to be. Lonely people with no friends outside their own fan community. Outcasts. And they say, we're not like that at all. And they might feel insulted. I think that's why they don't like the episode. When they look back at, oh, that's the worst episode ever made, Love and Monsters. But if you watch the episode, it's a good parody of Scooby-Doo, of the Scooby-Doo investigating team. The alien looked comedic, more like it should belong in a cartoon than in Doctor Who. But the ending destroys everything that preceded it. So I can't give it as high as everyone else is giving it. I would have to give it a 6.
All right, fair enough, Jimmy. Thank you. The creature in it, what was it called? The Hoeks, the Hawks? I forget. I don't know.
No, I wasn't talking about that creature. I was talking about the main alien.
Oh, the Absorbalope.
Yeah, the
Oh, okay.
Absorbalope.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we did. What did you say, Lee? How'd you pronounce it? The Howard?
The Hawks.
The Hawks, just the Hawks, because we did see it again. I think it even Torchwood we even seen it, didn't we? All right,
Yeah.
now let's go with we're gonna go with Graham McLaughlin, man. What did you think of his Tale of Love?
Tale of love, tale of tragedy, tale of loneliness. And we have Peter Kay. I mean, I'll agree with you guys in a sense that this does get a lot of flack, probably for all the wrong reasons. The points that Jimmy made are well valid. They could very well be the case in terms of the perception of the Linda group and whatnot, and the what I like to call the block job joke at the end. But you know, it's there, and it was just part of RTD's writing style at the time. Peter Kay, I'll agree with Jeff in the extent that he was 10 times better as Victor Kennedy, as he was as he absorbed off. Elton, cool character, kind of grumble man, and as a centrepiece for the episode, he was solid enough. Cannot complain with Elton. Jackie Tyler, you get a wee bit into her backstory. That was decent. You know, irrespective of what you think of the Tyler family and the whole season 2 / let's get the Twilight Kid crowd in here, that it was done. It served its purpose, and they moved on. Good to see a wee bit of Jackie's backstory developed, and you, as Jimmy alluded to, you did tend to feel sorry for her, which is, you know, that was probably the right route to go with regards to the character development at that time, in terms of a lonely mother. Tennant and Billy Piper, for the time they were in there, solid as ever. You can't really grumble. They didn't really have much to do. You know, as you guys have alluded to, you had the Scooby-Doo, you know, homage at the very beginning in the factory, and then the resolution at the end. Again, everybody harbours on the last 3-4 minutes of this thing. It was a joke thrown in there for the adults. But it does destroy the effect of the episode to a degree. I'll agree with the guys on that. So the cast were fine. The story, in most parts, was fine. Even the Linda lot got a bit of recognition later on in Time Crash when Pete Davidson's doctor mentioned them. So they impressed somebody. So, you know, there we go. I'll give this a 7, mate. I'll not be too harsh on it. Is it about the worst thing I've ever seen? Hell no, but it's by far not the best. 7 out of 10.
All right, fair enough there, Graham. Thank you, buddy. All right, our very own Bliss. And we always do say bless Texas Tim. We love Texas.
There you go.
So here he is, man, to give his words of wisdom on Love and Monsters. Take it away, man.
Well, I can only echo pretty much everybody, what they've said about the good points of the episode. One thing that bothers me is the fact that they need to do a Dr. Light episode, and this is where it started, where they started that trend of having to do this in order to save money or save time or something. I mean, if you're only producing 13 episodes a year, you shouldn't have this necessity. It should all be planned out ahead of time. And I know that they did a lot of this on the seat of their pants. They still do today. I mean, but the fact that you're going to work that into your schedule kind of baffles me. If you can't get the episodes made that you want to have for your season or your series, then drop one. I mean, there's no point. I mean, this works though. This works as a story, as a Doctor Who story. It's more like and there's several, you know, in books and audios and stuff. There's several stories that sometimes don't feature the Doctor. And the whole point of this episode is that Elton's sort of an unreliable narrator, and that works for the story. And it's not bad. And like you mentioned before, you know, in later series, you have better Dr. Light episodes, such as Blink, or even in series 4, you have Midnight, which is a companion light, and then you have that followed by Turn Left, which is a Dr. Light, and they're both very good episodes. Even as recently as last year, I mean the year before, when you had Flatline. You don't even know that's a Dr. Light episode. It's just that they scheduled it that way, but they filmed all of Capaldi's scenes in a day or so in the TARDIS. So it didn't, in other words, they get around it that way, and you don't even feel like you're watching a Dr. Light story. I just have a problem with the necessity to do that. I think that And this, we're talking about series 2, so this is 8 years ago. But I mean, I just have a problem with that, and I hope they get away from that. You shouldn't have to have a story without your leading doctor. I mean,
Well,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, well, you dropped an episode now anyway, so
yeah. But other than that, I do have a problem with the ending as well, as we all do. And I don't know, I would ask you guys, do you think it would have been better if when the Absorbaloff kind of explodes because everybody pulled away, that's what they did, would it have been better had the characters lived? Then again, you get that problem with everybody, nobody ever dies in Doctor Who. So, I mean, you'd have that contingent whining about it. But I think that would have been a more successful ending than a face in a slab.
You know what? For me, it should have ended where he explained what happened that night back when he was a kid, and the mother walked away from him on the grass. Should have ended there. Yeah.
No, if it ended with all the characters living, it would have been true to the parody of Scooby-Doo. Because in Scooby-Doo, all the characters are the main characters. The Scooby-Doo investigation team are all alive at the end. It would have been true to the parody.
Yeah.
But having them all dead at the end and then throwing in that joke for the adults just ruined what you had up until then was a group of innocents. And then you just ruin it. You kill them all, and then you throw in the oral sex joke.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. That's what I'm saying. I'm never going to be somebody that tells somebody how to write their episodes, because I think that they deserve more respect than that as writers. But I think that might have been a better ending than the, like you said, the oral sex joke. But at the end of the day, the music's great. The story's not bad at all. So I would give it probably a 7. It's not one I'm going to pick out to watch every day, but I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I don't understand its reputation as being like always on the bottom 10 or whatever. It's a perfectly workable episode of Doctor Who, even though the Doctor's barely in it. Oh, and Billie Piper is good in this one. You're right. She's not there much, but I mean, she gets a little development too, because she's kind of pissed off this guy's been bugging her mother. So I mean, that's not the side you always see of the character. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.
All right, cool. Thank you, Tim. Yeah, this one is a fun one. I do watch this one a little, at least once a year or so. The kids do enjoy watching this one with me. Do we have?
I was just going to add in the other thing I like was when he was telling the story from his point of view, as did tend to happen a lot in the RTD era, was the fact that a lot of the stories were interlinked. You had Elton's point of view for what happened in Rose with the Autons, then you had World War III with the Big Ben thing, and then obviously you had the Christmas invasion, so they keep it going for that.
Yeah,
and now the base back, you can get his. Yeah.
Yeah, like a recap on that. Oh, look.
Yeah.
Beef is here with us, guys. All right. What'd you think, Beef? What'd you think of the Love and the Monsters?
Well, I hope you can hear me. I mean, like I say, I've been able to just break away very quickly. So
You're a bit muffled. You're a bit muffled.
Well, can you hear me now?
I can hear you a little muffled, but I can hear you.
Okay. Well, the problem with this, I think that it's easy for a lot of people to jump onto the bandwagon and say this is a really bad episode. In part, the framework is very good, but the issue that is with it for me is that it's like something that started off well, but it's like your homework that you do a bit of the night before and then gets rushed on the bus on the way to work the day after. The group in itself, Simon Greenwell as well, who, all the group, the support group, are very, very good comedy actors and actresses, and they're all trying to get away from something. The Doctor is a cover for everything that is wrong with their own lives, and Elton's story is very poignant, I think, for me. Certainly, the death of his mother, which is very, very hard-hitting. He's trying to avoid it, block it out to a certain extent to deal with it. You can see how painful it is. Mark Warren expresses that very, very well. But it's just trying to transport the comedy themes, the sort of, the frustrated, Jackie left behind. You do get an idea of the people who are left behind in the Doctor's wake, but Jackie being the sort of sad, lonely housewife, it's not that true to our character. You get little tinges of it, but there's a lot of just trying to put comedy on the top of it for the sake of it. I do feel Peter Kay is a bit of a parachute thing. The comedy of the Absorbaloff and Victor Kennedy is just tailored to his styling and everything like that. But I think the idea of just having the people who are left behind, the story of Elton isn't bad. Then obviously the resolution with Ursula at the end of it is it's just sloppy, to be honest with you. The next episode that comes after this, Fear Her, I actually dislike more than this episode. But the emotional core to this, which really is Elton, because it's one of these strange episodes that you get, which is the narrative is given by someone who's not the Doctor. The entire story is viewed from him and everything like that. It's good that in a sense that there is a progression for him as a character. Like Lee said, it'd be good to actually revisit him further along the lines and see what would happen. Perhaps if you didn't have the Ursula thing in the situation, that he as a person develops and learns to accept his situation. I just wish that if they had it with the group instead of the Absorbaloff, the Victor Kennedy character, it would have been a lot better. It really would have been, to be honest with you. You could have made that a really sort of, still a quite nice drama-based episode, concentrating on how people felt and everything like that, because the stories involved with the group are very tragic to a certain point. And I think Lee did the way that you don't find out till the end that it's Elton's mother who died is very touching, it's actually very emotionally gut-wrenching and everything like that. So I would actually say it's not as bad as you would think. There is, at the core, a very good element to it, and it's a 7 out of 10. It's by no means the worst episode, and it's easy for a lot of people to jump on it and say, this is the worst episode of Doctor Who that you will ever see. I would like to be contrary to that and say Fear Her that comes afterwards actually is a lot worse. So for me, it's a 7, bud.
All right, thank you, Beef, man. I do agree. I am not really a big fan of Fear Her, man. Surprisingly enough, not a big fan. We will eventually touch base on Fear Her in the upcoming months, definitely.
Well, I'll be extra drunk that day. But before we get to that, can I just touch on something Beef said, where he alluded to the fact that it would have been a lot better had Victor Kennedy just been a human and been part of the group. I agree with that to an extent. What you could have done easily. But this time you had the whole Torchwood thing coming to the fore. We, Tracy Ann Overman's Yvonne Hartman. You could have had him basically as a plant for her. Keep an eye out for when he arrives and whatnot. You could have quite easily have tucked that in there, but they went doing the kids' costume competition route, and we got what we got. So, yeah.
Not like that, not like some of their original monster ideas were that the Slovene. I mean, come on, like they weren't really that good looking. You know what I mean?
Does anybody know? Does anybody know? Was that a Blue Peter thing?
Yeah.
Because Doctor Who and Blue Peter have been tied together since the beginning, and as recently as Deep Breath, you had a situation where you had some devices created by some kids, and they worked it in, but they didn't have to. But you get my point that that's kind of cool, though. I mean, so it is. Yeah, the end result isn't that good, but I mean, it's nice that Doctor Who still has this relationship with Blue Peter, where because you've seen like even on some of the old back in the Hartnell days, they had like create a monster for Doctor Who, and
the Web Planet. The Web Planet is an example, yeah.
And they would actually build the monster that the kids designed, not for the show, but for Blue Peter, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it is, man. You can find a lot of those old episodes of Blue Peter on the YouTube. You can. All right, guys. Do you guys have any other extra tidbits on Love and Monsters you'd like to share with us?
No.
Nothing.
Nothing came out of your mouth, Jimmy. Just your lips were moving. We couldn't hear what you were saying. Still nothing, Jimmy. You're muted or something. Something's up with Jimmy's microphone. I don't know. I can't read his lips. I'm not sure what he's saying. I think he said Ursula Blake's really hot woman.
Wow. Yeah.
She's a hot slab.
Yeah. He's a chip off the old block. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like,
You're muted, Timmy.
yeah, I don't know. He unmuted himself, but I don't know, something with his microphone, I guess. But I know we're going to get some comments, some of the guys that, say that we come off a little positive at times, which is whatever. But let us know, what really did you dislike about this episode and what you liked about this episode, either way. We do. We love it. And again, guys, if you want to join in with us, whatever, send us a message, whatever, let us know. We don't really give a crap,
Yeah, yeah.
That's right, Graham.
Yeah.
That's right. I keep
by all means, guys, say whatever the hell you like, because we don't have to deal with it. That's your buddy's Alex department every Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Comments.
Yes, that's right. We're having a new show. So leaving your comments below will be exciting, because Alan's going to do a show where he's going to read your comments out loud in his own little show he's doing. I don't know if he's going to start this Wednesday or next Wednesday. So leave some fun comments down there, please. If you want to get a shout out, let Alan know, man. It's going to be fun. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thanks my buddies for joining us. Again, give us a thumbs up, if you like it, thumbs down if you don't, but please let us know if you think we should be doing something different, you know what I mean? Mix it up a bit. But I'll tell you this, next weekend's going to be exciting. I know Lee Wilson is excited. All next weekend we're doing the 2 of the dinosaur episodes. We're going to do Dinosaurs in a Spaceship with Matt Smith, and the invasion of dinosaurs with John Pertwee, the Third Doctor with Sarah Jane Smith, and everybody from Unit, and Mike Yates giving all Mikes a bad name.
Damn it. Mike, when you said dinosaurs, I was about to shout Sinclair, get in here. But, oh well, I'm happy with that.
It'll be fun. Maybe the audio guys are going to do a dinosaur audio book. I don't know, man. It's always a surprise here with us. But again, guys, seriously, thanks for watching us, and keep on hooing.